We're going to make this second piece, we're going to add in these details, and we're also going to make the hole in this first piece. This piece actually goes over the top of this piece here, so it's going to be situated like this when we're done. So we're going to go back to our Blender file, we're going to tab into edit mode, we're going to alt right click on this edge loop, Shift D to duplicate, right click to cancel, and we're just going to bring it back slightly. Then we're going to E to extrude, right click to cancel, and bring this back. Then we're going to do Control L and Control N to recalculate the normals. We're going to alt right click on this edge loop, E to extrude, right click to cancel, S to scale this down slightly. Then we're going to alt right click, and we're going to do Control B to bevel this, mouse wheel up once, and do a relatively small bevel. That should be fine. I'm going to alt right click on this and bring this back a little bit more. Now we want to figure out how far back we want that detail to go, this piece right here. We want to figure out how far back we want that. So probably about here is going to be okay. So we're going to do Control R, and we're going to left click and just bring that up to where we want it. And then left click again. We're going to do Control R, and we're going to add in another loop cut and bring this in here. If you want to, you can adjust this other loop cut by doing alt right click and using Q to slide it. So this is going to be the end of the part that goes down, and then we're going to bring the rest of this back up to sort of meet up with the rest of the circle. So we're going to select this vertex here, we're going to hold Control and select this vertex, hold Shift, select this vertex, hold Control, and select this vertex. So we're going to bring this up, and then we're going to bring it back down, hold Control, snap it to here, and then we're just going to have to bring it up again slightly to make sure that it still matches the curvature of this right here. If you still want to adjust one of your lines, you can just alt right click and then simply just move it on the y-axis to make it a little closer or farther away according to what you feel you'd like to do. Then at this point we're going to do Control R, left click, and bring this close. This is just a supporting edge to help with the shading. And then we're going to start getting rid of some of these vertices. So we're actually going to take this one, so select this one, hold Control and select this one, then do Alt M at last. That's going to merge all those over. And we're going to do the same here. We're going to select this one, hold Control, select this one, and we're going to leave that last one. We're just going to do Alt M at last. So this is going to be a nice supporting edge loop all the way around when we're finished. We're going to take this one, we're going to hold Shift, select this one, Alt M at last. So now you can see how the shading is going to be following around this area. We want to get rid of the vertices back here too, so we're going to select this one, hold Control, select this one, Alt M at last. Instead of repeating the process on this side, it's going to be easier just to add in a mirror modifier. So we're going to do Control R, left click, right click, then H to hide this. We're going to have to add in a loop cut on the bottom as well, so we're going to do Control R, left click, right click, H to hide this as well. Then we're going to select the vertex on this side, do Control L, delete, and choose vertices. We're going to do Alt H to unhide this. We're going to do Control L to select all of it, P to separate the selection, and choose selection. Tab into edit mode, select this object, add a mirror modifier, turn on clipping and this option, and then tab into edit mode. So now you can see our changes have been reflected onto the other side here. So we're actually just going to apply this modifier in object mode. So go to object mode and apply this modifier. So now we have the changes we made here over to here. And we can alt right click on this edge loop and do delete and dissolve edges. We didn't need that. So now we just have this one edge loop going around like that. And at this point we can get rid of these extra edge loops we added for the mirror modifier. So we're going to alt right click here, alt and shift right click here, then do delete and dissolve edges. I'm going to alt right click on this and I'm going to bring this back some more. I'm also going to tab into edit mode or object mode and turn on smooth shading so we can get a look at what we have right now. You can kind of see this darker shading here. To fix that, we're going to go back into edit mode and we're going to do Control R and then bring a loop cut nice and close, and that'll help to correct the shading in this area. Another thing we can do in object mode is select this and then press H to hide it. Then select this piece again, tab into edit mode, Alt right click here, and I'm going to scale mine out because I think I scaled it in a bit too much. So we're just going to scale this in a little bit. We're going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, then we're going to bring this out some. We're also going to do Control plus and then press Y on the keyboard to make this a separate piece. If you want to, you can Alt right click and make this a bit longer. That's up to you. And next what we want to do is start making the hole for this area, but we're going to do Alt H because the hole is in this piece actually. Then we're going to select this empty and press H to hide it. We're going to select this piece and tab into edit mode. We're going to switch to face select and we're going to select these three faces. We're going to do Shift D to duplicate, right click to cancel, then we're just going to bring them up on the Z axis. We're going to do 7 for top view, we're going to do S and then Y to scale it on the Y axis to make it a bit skinnier in the Y direction. Then we're going to do S and then X and scale it down in this direction a bit. That's probably fine. Then we're going to bring it back a bit, and I'm going to scale mine a little bit smaller in the Y direction. That's probably going to be okay. It is situated a bit further back than it is to the front, so just bring it back a little bit on the Y axis. That's probably going to be okay. So we're going to use this object to cut into this object. So we're going to press P to separate this, and we're going to choose selection. Now we can go to top view by pressing 7 on the number pad, and we can go down here to knife project and click on knife project. Now when you take a look at this, you have a nice shape cut into our object. So we're going to go to vertex select, and we're actually going to get rid of any extra vertices. So if you have an extra vertex here, you're going to select it, shift select this one, do Alt M at last, and just merge those over, and repeat the process for any extra vertices that you have. Now we're going to select these outer vertices and we're going to add a bevel to it. So we're going to do Control Shift and B and then mouse wheel up once, and we're going to add a small bevel to this outside here. Next what we want to do is start joining all this stuff together, so we can actually take these two and press J, and then these two and press J, and these two and press J. We don't need this object anymore, so I'm actually going to go to object mode, select it, and press delete, and just confirm it by left clicking. Then we're going to select this piece, press tab to go back into edit mode, and we're going to continue joining these vertices together. So select 2 and press J until you get through the entire process. So we're going to do the same on this other side. Once that's done, you're going to switch to face select and you're going to select these three faces. Then you're going to do I to inset and do a small inset here. Then we're going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, and we're going to bring this down a bit. That's probably going to be fine. Then we're going to press delete and we're going to choose faces, and that will allow us to see through and see the details that we're going to create down here. We're done with this piece now, so we're going to press tab to go to object mode, and we're going to press H to hide it. Then we're going to select this piece. We're going to do tab to go into edit mode. We're going to do Control R, left click, right click, Control R again, left click, right click, and then do the same over here. We're then going to select all these edges, and we're going to do Control B to do a bevel. We're going to press M a couple times until the mode is set to %, so just below my cursor it should say %. And then we're going to type in 25 for 25%, so the offset should say 25 here. And then we're going to press enter. You could do it with just these, but I kind of like the look of it if we do it one more time. So we're going to do Control B, and we're going to press M again a few times until it says %, and we're going to press 25 and then press enter. We're going to press I to do an inset and do a small inset. You also want to press B for the border option so that it goes all the way to the border. And then you're going to want to do one more inset, so you're going to do I and then B one more time. And that should be fine. Once you're done with that, you're going to bring these down some, so just bring them down a bit on the Z-axis here. And we now have these nice details, so we can do Alt-H in object mode, and that will unhide our other object. We're going to hide this empty, so I'm going to right click to select it and press H to hide. So now we have these nice details. We have that little window area to show the details. If you wanted to, you can select this object, tab into edit mode, press A to select everything, and you can move it away to kind of see how everything looks. If you're still moving it, you can right click to put it back in the position that it was in. If you release the mouse, you can do Control Z, and that'll put it right back where it needs to be. I recommend just leaving it in this position so that it's in the correct position when you need it to be. Now that we're done with that, we can save it just by going to File and Save. Thank you to our awesome Patreon supporters. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter yourself, head on over to patreon.com/StephenBrooks. Thank you for your support.